Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Tinaverse. I can't believe how fast time flies because it was just like yesterday when I packed my bags, said goodbye to my friends and family, and decided to move to Canada. I remember that day vividly because I had a lot of mixed feelings. It was a bittersweet moment for me because a part of me was happy about the fact that I was about to have a fresh start with my spouse here in Canada. And another part of me was sad because I was leaving my friends, my family, and the life I knew back at home to start all over again. But I decided to embrace the challenge and see what life throws at me. So I embarked on that journey. It was a very long and boring journey. Boring because I was on the flight alone. And I remember when we were up in the clouds, it was cold and very dry. So I was very uncomfortable and I couldn't wait to arrive at my destination. The only thing I enjoyed on the trip was the food. I ate almost everything and I tried to document as much as I could. I hadn't started my YouTube channel at the time, but I am somebody who likes to document important moments in my life. So I try to document as much as I could. In this video, I'm going to be discussing what the journey has been so far. So stay tuned with me. Don't go anywhere, and I'm going to be answering some burning questions. Because a year is 12 months, I've decided to answer 12 questions. So let's get right into it. This question reminds me of the popular saying, never say never. I used to say that I'll never go to Canada. Do you know why? Because I used to hear a lot of stories about how cold Canada was, and I wasn't ready to experience the harsh winter. So just because of that, I used to say that I'll never come to Canada. But you would also agree with me that over the past years, Canada has been very famous for its opportunities and inclusivity. So when it got to the point in my life where I needed a fresh start with my spouse, Canada ticked most of our boxes. And so that influenced our decision. And here we are today in Canada.
Obu, it's not your fault. It's not my fault. It's the fault of love. Original love. Hot love.
I think life in Canada is both easier and harder than what I expected. I don't know if it makes sense, but I'll try to explain it as much as I can. So in most Western countries, things like transportation, like security, like technology makes the lives of the residents in those countries very easy. And I wasn't expecting anything different from Canada. And yes, they have nailed it. The public transportation system is not bad. It's easily accessible, it's affordable. Like if you don't have a car in this country, moving about the city is not too much of a hassle as compared to back at home. So I think the public transportation system is great. Technology is good. When it comes to security, I think Canada is one of the safest countries. You should check the safest countries in the world, and Canada is at the top. So yeah, I love it for the security. There are systems in place that make people behave properly. So you can go out, leave your door open, and nobody's going to enter your room. When you are expecting a package and you are not at home, the package will be dropped at your doorstep and it will be right there no matter the time you return. Nobody's going to lay a finger on it. And I love that part of it. It just gives you some peace, some inner peace. You can close at any time. You can close from work at any time of the night, and you are not scared that you're going to be attacked by anyone, or somebody's going to snatch your phone or anything. All those things give you some kind of sound mindedness, and I love that part of it. So the things that did not meet my expectations that make Canada hard for me is the job market. I think the job market did not meet my expectations at all, in the sense that here in Montreal, for instance, they prioritize language over qualifications. So, irrespective of how high your qualification is, the language takes precedence over your qualification, and that makes it difficult for me, in the sense that there are some jobs that under normal circumstances I would have easily qualified for, but because of the language barrier, it doesn't make me eligible for those roles. And for me, I find that hard to comprehend. I have not yet recovered from that aspect. Another thing that I think makes it hard is the health system. The health system is much complicated than I expected it to be. So, back in Ghana, you can just walk to the hospital. Once you have your money to pay for your healthcare, you can just walk into the hospital, and that should be it. Here, the public hospitals are free. Once you are a resident here, you have access to free healthcare. But guess what? If you don't have an appointment, you regret it. So, my first and only experience with a hospital so far was a point where I went to the pharmacy to buy an antibiotic, and unlike Ghana, where you could just walk to the pharmacy and buy any drug that you want, I was told that pharmacists do not just give out those drugs without prescription. So I needed to go to the hospital to get a doctor's prescription before I could get the drug. And because of that, I wasn't sick, but I had to go to the hospital. And guess what? I spent almost 24 hours in the hospital.
I shouted, Jesus, what a life. I said, okay, I cannot bear this again. Let me go.
If somebody had told me that, I would have said it was a lie, but I experienced it myself. I think that has been my worst experience so far, because I didn't think that not having an appointment was going to make me stay in the hospital for that long. I spent almost 24 hours. And the worst part is that when I was going, I didn't even eat before going, because I thought I wasn't going to stay there for long. After all, I'm not sick. All I needed to do was to tell the doctor why I needed a drug for a prescription, and then get to the pharmacy and get the drug that I needed. And I stayed in the hospital for almost 24 hours. And even to get a family doctor, there's a queue, you have to be on the waiting list for long. It's more complicated than I thought, and for me it's quite disappointing. So I'd say that the job market and the health system has not met my expectations so far. I don't know if there's some information that I'm missing, because I don't get it.
If you don't get it, forget about it.
By the way, if today is your first time of seeing me, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join the Tinaverse community, because I'll be bringing you more juicy content from Canada and beyond. And if you've been watching and haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button so that we can grow this community together. All right, let's move to the next question. I'll say my biggest cultural shock has been how multicultural the population here is. I didn't expect to meet a lot of people from different parts of the world with different languages in the same space. This is my first time of experiencing something like this. The population is extremely diverse and it's beautiful to see. I love the fact that Canada has been able to welcome people from all walks of life. And another culture shock was the language barrier, because I knew that Canada was a bilingual country. But I mean, I was coming to North America. I wasn't going to France. So I knew that it would be easier to survive with English. But coming to Montreal, I realized that it's a whole different ball game. Like, French is something else, and I think I've not recovered from this particular cultural shock, because I mean, I just can't comprehend why French is such a big deal in a Northern American country. I'm still coming to terms with it, but it is still a cultural shock for me. So for my first winter, I think it was easy for me because, first of all, even though this was my first winter in Canada, this wasn't my first time experiencing winter. So I had an idea of what winter felt like. That was number one. So because of that, I came prepared. I came with a lot of winter clothing, a lot of sweaters. Yes. And the only difference is that winter here in Canada is much colder. So I just had to layer up my clothing to keep me warm. And I tried to stay as hydrated as possible. Another thing that also made it easier for me was that I wasn't working at the time because I had just arrived. So I spent a lot of time indoors. So I didn't really experience the crazy part of winter. But aside that, I think the winter in Montreal last year was much friendlier than what I expected, because the videos that I had seen about Canadian winter was very crazy. So I was expecting something crazier than what I encountered last winter, and it was kind to me. I'm just hoping that this year's winter would be manageable, but it looks like it's going to be tough. But I'm just hoping and praying that it will be as manageable as last winter was, because I'm not ready. But I'll keep you posted. I'll let you know how it goes, okay? I think favorites in this sense is relative. I'd say my favorite season when it comes to the temperature would be spring, because it's not so cold, neither is it so warm. Like, the temperature is just perfect for our everyday lives, and that is when the flowers begin to bloom. It signifies new beginnings, a fresh start, and it's so uplifting. So I love that part about spring, and it makes it my favorite season when it comes to the temperature. But when it comes to enjoyment, summer any day, anytime. Because if you've been watching my vlogs, you can tell from my videos that the city comes alive during summer. That is where everything goes down. So if you want to really enjoy the life out here, see all the fun things in the city, the right time is during summer. So I think this question has two answers: spring when it comes to temperatures, and summer when it comes to having fun. When I got my work permit, it took me about 2 months to secure a job. But I know people have stayed at home for longer periods. So I'd say that my background played a role in me securing a job at that point in time. But since then, I've been trying to switch jobs. I've been trying to get another job, and it hasn't been so easy because of the language barrier. So I'd say that securing a job has been comme si comme ça. You know, at least I'm not unemployed, so I won't say it was so difficult, but I wish it was much easier to just maneuver my way through the job market. I think the cost of living here is higher than what I expected, especially when it comes to groceries and taxes. The taxes is nothing to write home about. They are very high. So those are the things that were more of a culture shock to me, because I wasn't expecting groceries to be that expensive, and for the taxes also I wasn't expecting it to be that high. But at least the affordability of things like transportation and healthcare kind of compensates for it. So there is a balance. At least once you earn a living, you'll be able to afford your basic needs. With the rent, I was expecting it to be high because I know that rent is expensive abroad. So I wasn't expecting the rent to be cheap. But for groceries, I didn't see that coming.
I want to live soft life. No stress. I beg.
Yeah, I really do miss home. I miss my friends, I miss my family. I miss how easy it is to get some things back at home. When you crave for cocoa, you crave for wache, you can just walk and get it by a roadside, those little things. You don't get them here. When I was coming, I had some braids on the temporal locks. And when I had to take off those braids, it was a hassle. I ended up cutting my hair. I ended up damaging my hair. Like, I had to cut long strands of hair just to get those braids off. And it made me miss home so much, because if I was at home, this wouldn't have been a hassle. Even if I don't go to the salon to get it done, I'll get people at home, my mom, my sisters, to assist me with that. So all those things make me miss home. And about how I try to stay connected, technology has made life a bit easier for us. So I try to use video calls to stay in touch with my friends and family. We communicate every now and then. So that has been working just fine. And for the food stuff, for the products that I use, like hair products and stuff, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I've been able to get a lot of items from the African shops here. So that kind of compensates, because if I crave something, I can easily cook, I can easily prepare those meals. Since I came here, I've eaten kenke, I've prepared wache, I eat banku and okra, I eat fufu. When it comes to food, I'm doing just fine. It's just the little assistance that you could have gotten back at home that you miss. When I was living back in Ghana, I lived close to my parents, so I didn't have to cook every time. There were times where my mom will cook and she'll call me to come and eat. I just have to go and eat and come back home to sleep. All those things, I miss all of them, because Now, no, there's nobody to do all those things for you. You have to do them by yourself. So, just having good people around you, that feeling is priceless. And those are some of the things that I miss. But aside that, we are making do with the little that we have, trying to turn the lemons into lemonades. If I had to advise somebody moving to Canada, I think this advice is not just for somebody moving to Canada. I think if you have to move outside of your African country into the Western world, the advice would be to manage your expectations and be open minded. Learn to be open minded, because a lot of things we know and do back at home is different from the Western world. So, open mindedness is key in this part of the world. Otherwise, you'll struggle in a lot of settings. And try to research, get as much information as you can, and ask questions. It will make it easier for you to settle in. Don't just work with yes, say. Try to read. The problem that most people from our part of the world have is that we don't like to read. We like to make decisions based on hearsays, and that goes a long way to affect us. So try your best to read. If you hear something from someone, go to the portals, go to the websites of the country that you're moving to, and try to verify the information you've received. Research for yourself. And I think once you are not expecting too much, you come in with managed expectations, you should be fine. You'd survive. Because I know that when you are moving from your home country to a place like this, you would have very high expectations, thinking you're moving into the land of milk and honey. The milk and honey is going to come, but it's not going to come at the initial stages. The initial stage is the survival of the fittest kind of mode. So you should be ready to wear your big girl and big boy pants. Otherwise, you will make it. You will make it here. So you should be ready to hustle. And then after you've hustled for some time and settled in properly, the milk and honey is going to come. Moving to Canada has made me more resilient and independent. I have learned to adapt to new challenges and embrace change. Because as I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of things that you would have to do by yourself, and here you wouldn't have people do them for you like they were doing back at home. So even if you don't know how to be independent, the system is going to teach you to be independent. Obey. So, and it has taught me to be more resilient in the sense that there were things that I was expecting to get in the beginning that I didn't get, and it taught me to keep pushing on till I get whatever I want. And one thing that I didn't know how to do before I came to Canada was going out by myself. Like whenever I want to go out, let's say to have fun or spend some quality time, I want to go with someone, with a friend, with my spouse, a family member. Like I want to go with somebody and spend time with a person. But moving in here, I've learned to spend time by myself, because my husband, for instance, has different schedules from my schedules. And so if I don't learn to spend time by myself, it will mean that I'll never go out because almost every time I am home, he is not available. And almost every time he is home, I am not available. So I had to learn to do some things by myself. And I think so far it is working just fine. When both of us get to spend time together, we make the most out of it. But when he's not around, I also try to enjoy my life by myself. So I'm adapting to the system, and so far so good. Oh, this question is giving me butterflies. The proudest moment this year has been the fact that I've been able to start this YouTube channel, because it's been something that I've been procrastinating for a while now. I always give myself excuses upon excuses as to why it wasn't the best time to start it. So I'm just excited about the fact that I was able to put it into action this year, and it makes me proud. It comes with its own challenges, but the fact that it gives me the opportunity for growth is what I'm looking out for, and I love the perks of that. So at least I'm a proud owner of a YouTube channel. Looking back, if I think what I would have done differently was to prepare better for the language barrier and to research more into the job market. But aside that, every situation, every encounter has taught me something valuable, and so there isn't much I'll change. I'm loving the new experience. I'm loving each day and what it comes with, and I'm just here for everything that it brings me. So this is where we draw the curtain for today's video. Thank you so much for watching till this point. If you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to join this community, and also share your thoughts in the comment section. I want this video to be very interactive. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you had any expectations that were contrary to what I have just mentioned, you can let me know in the comment section. If you've also been here for more than a year, let me know in the comment section what your experience has been so far. Thank you once again, and I'll come your way again next time with my next video. Don't forget to like the video as well. It's bye for now.